So, hello everyone! I am going to be placing this at the beginning of the playlist for the new VTM campaign. The character creation dragged on for a while because the players were creating elder characters and working out essentially centuries of history for said characters, which even in a very superficial and generic or general way is rather difficult. So this is going to be sort of a guide as to what you can find where. The character creation part is their individual characters as well, and that's where you should go if you want to see what they actually have on their sheets. We go through those in detail, in fact. After that, we do have, and by the way, on the character creation, they do also have a vague timeline of what part of the world they were when. Then we have the character histories, where we mapped out some of the events that the various characters have had in their past, establishing their relationship with other characters and with the various groups in the world of darkness. For example, the gangrel Primogen, played by Demi, is, well, he is hated by the Ventru because he criticizes them pretty much every opportunity he gets in various ways and flaunts their authority. And, well, things like that, they're all mapped out there, so each player has clans that like and dislike them, and those are tied to things they have been doing throughout their own lives for centuries. It's essentially their reputation and their street cred. And the shortest part in the prep phase is the intro, where we figured out how the efforts to actually take the city from the Sabbat went, and what they did during those few months. And they also figured out who they would encourage to end up on the Primogen Council, because they have enough influence to pull the strings or bar certain people, since they effectively, between them, own the city. And they also already picked a sheriff and an NPC to bring into the inner circle. And that's more or less it in terms of the general idea of the campaign. For once, the players are running the show in New Orleans. The year is 1957, and they have just taken it back from the Sabbat, who have owned the city for nearly a century in this particular version of the World of Darkness. This is completely homebrew in terms of lore. I am not using the New Orleans by Night books or any of the characters from there. This is freshly baked. So, that being the case, they are essentially the biggest fish in the pond. They each have 200 experience, they are centuries old, and they are vastly more powerful, especially working together, than any other forces in the city. Of course, if those forces start batting together against them, or if the Sabbat roll back in, there's gonna be trouble, but the players essentially have the chance to try and rule. Not just rule in a, oh, we just came to power and we're sort of struggling to take over way that neonates or Ancilla might have. They get to play the elders, who have a multitude of tools at their disposal and a great deal of resources to work with, in a situation where, at least initially, there's very few things that directly threaten their power, which means they have a chance to establish themselves. The plan is to run the campaign from 1957 when it starts, which was incidentally in the in-game world, like the last of the really big Sabbat civil wars, which is what allowed them to roll in and take over easily, to hopefully the modern days and Gehenna, which means that we should semi-regularly have time skips of several years, so there's plenty of room for people to really build up and make the city theirs, which is hopefully how it'll go. Of course, already with the way they've decided to run things, they are not going as I expected while going in the general theme that I set, so all is well there. Other than that, I hope you will enjoy the campaign and that this little guide has been mildly useful in helping you find the things you want in the preparation stuff, because it's like 12, 15 hours of just prep work. It's completely insane. Some of it is really good stuff, and the other is worth looking up if you ever become interested in it as you watch the campaign. But hopefully I have saved you a little bit of a headache in looking stuff up. And I'll see you in the actual campaign, whether we're streaming or in the YouTube comments. See you there.